I'm Kristy Wood. I'm the Dean of Workforce Development. I think I know everybody here, but just in case there's some new faces, I wanted to introduce myself. This will be very brief. We just wanted to introduce you all to this new higher ground micro-credentials learning pathway that we've created. And so if I can remember how to use this, there we are. Some background on how this came about. When I sit down with employers, when we say, what do you need? The first thing they say is, we need someone who will show up to work on time and can pass a drug test. And then we're like, okay, let's dig a little deeper. And they say things like, we need them to be able to communicate with customers and their peers and their supervisors. Like, if they're not going to come to work, they don't post that on Facebook. They notify their supervisor. And so it just consistently hear this from every single employer we sit down with. So we started thinking, like, should we create some micro credentials that can address some of these gaps that these students have? And we're hearing that a lot of entry level workers have these gaps. And what caused that? I don't know. COVID, social media, young people just don't have the social interactions that they used to have. I don't remember being taught things like that, but apparently it was somehow communicated to me. Maybe it's because we have so many children in foster care and they're just not getting this from their parents. So we created a micro-credentials faculty committee, and we met multiple times and talked about, like, what should this look like? What should we include in these? And this is the micro-credentials committee. Thank you to the committee for volunteering their time to work on this. And in the parentheses, you can see which one of the micro credentials everyone specifically worked on. So, you can see that the faculty here that are elite at that area are the ones who designed these micro credentials. And then we talked about, like, making sure that they all look kind of similar, right? So you go in, you're going to see, like, the description, and then you're going to take a pre-assessment, and then a handful of modules post-assessment. And so what are they? They're just short focus courses, about 15 contact hours each. They're self-paced, fully online, auto-assessed. And so what I mean by that is they wouldn't do discussion boards. Like, it's going to be quizzes and exams, things that can automatically be assessed. There is a pre and a post assessment, so we'll be able to gauge from when the student started to when they finished how much learning occurred in the area. And so the first thing, they come in, they see the description, there's release conditions. So they have to take that pre-assessment before they can get to any of the material in the course. And they don't see their score on the pre-assessment, and it is not included in their overall grade, because we just wanted to see how much are they starting with. It is free to Mount West students. And then for people in the community, it's $25 each, or $99 for the entire 8-course suite. Students will receive a completion certificate for each one they complete. And if they complete all 8, they get a career ready badge. And they will be live on Monday for students to take. So if you want to advise your students to take those, please do. Why should you care? The communications and the quantitative skills courses may be used for an assessment piece for the embedded gen ed and certificate programs. You could recommend these courses to help them prepare for their careers, or you could require them to take one of these courses as part of your course. So I understand most of you probably already have all your courses laid out for fall. So adding another grade and throwing off your grade scale probably isn't ideal, but something to think about for spring semester or going into fall. If one of these really hits home with something you're covering in your courses, you could just advise them or make them take one of those micro credentials, and then they could upload their certificate into Blackboard so that you could give them a grade for that. And this can also be an assessment. Yes, ma'am. They'll be alive all of the time. So a student can register and immediately start the course at any given moment. So they're what we refer to as ongoing courses. They're always available to register for and start at any time. And they're self-paced. So, if the student takes the entire semester to do the 15 contact hours, then they can. And this can be an assessment piece for your general education alignment map, column 4, for the communication and numerical literacy outcomes. Now, this doesn't get you out of doing the alignment map. You still need to demonstrate where these skills, the communication and numerical literacy, are being covered in all of your courses, but this could serve as another piece to demonstrate that these students have met the basic communication and quantitative skills. Numerical literacy. More on embedded gen ed and certificate programs. So previously, we have always said that you have to have a 3-hour English or communications class and a 3-hour math class for certificate programs. Well, as we looked at the policy a little bit more deeply, and Dr. Baker had multiple conversations with people in the system office, they indicated that we could actually embed the communication and the quantitative skills in the certificate programs. Only the certificate programs. You still have to have an English or communications class and a math class and 15 total gen eds in associate degree programs. Now, why did we even explore this? Because we have a lot of skilled trades programs where the students, take welding, for example, the students only want the technical classes. They're taking the classes and then they're exiting and immediately finding employment. That is a success for that student, right? They got the welding skills, they got employed, but it's a non-completer for us. So to help with that, some of the programs have went ahead and put their certificate program back through curriculum and have made it to where the communication and the quantitative skills are embedded within the technical courses. So what that means is you could open up 6 hours of your certificate program to technical training instead of having those specific gen ed classes. Now, you may want to keep those gen ed classes, and that's perfectly fine too. This is just an option. What else on this? If you want to embed gen ed in your certificate program, you can't just automatically do that. There is a procedure, and you can find it if you go to our website, About Us, Administration, Administrative Procedures, or just go in the search bar and click Embedded Gen Ed Procedure. And then you also need to put it through curriculum. Any questions on that? Okay, and this is just a nice little Chat GPT image. We'll probably get the marketing team to create a flyer for these micro-credentials. And you can see the different areas that we cover. And yeah, they'll be live on Monday if you want to encourage your students to take them. Any questions? Concerns? Comments? We still waking up? Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Yes.
Oh, yes, so those are the courses listed under there.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.